Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along once again to One Hub Racing. We are here tonight around the Circuit of Barcelona in Catalonia, just outside a small little town called Montemelo, a little beautiful place. It is a place for anybody's bucket list, but this circuit is a bucket list in terms of a racing driver's dream. We're here tonight around a sort of multicultural track, I suppose you could call it. In some sense, it has a bit of everything involved, and I am not joined by Matthew. Matthew isn't here tonight, but I have an ever better replacement. Bala, how are you doing?
Good evening, Evan. Good evening, everyone. I'm very well, thank you. Bit calmer now after my race just now, and yeah, looking forward to getting back into the comms and hopefully another exciting race ahead of us.
Yeah, we should be in for a really good race this evening. We can run you through the engine penalties really quickly. It's only going to take a matter of seconds because they're both already on your screen. It is championship leader Oriel J. Cole, and the man who could have been in the championship lead, but he did not have the race he wanted in Budapest. It is ERT Nick. We are starting a little bit late this evening due to my own doing, so we'll run you through qualifying really quickly. It is J. Luke currently on pole position for AlphaTauri, and then JM, who's looking to get himself back into the championship fight after a mistake in Hungary. Thomas Mack for Alpine in third, ahead of Colin or Mason on the podium for the first time last season in Hungary. Akeke in fifth, and it is one of two cams in sixth. Larkin seventh, Lukey in eighth, who's currently backwards through turn number 3, so that's not a good sight for the Aston Martin mechanics. Lukey currently in eighth, and then it is Esports Wales Cam Rules in ninth. Nick out of the session, of course, serving his qualifying penalty with Waitsy in 11th. Schnitzel in 12th, with Joom in 13th, making his debut tonight here in the P2 tier. He is in the Ferrari alongside Cam. Of course, that is a seat that once belonged to Owen White. However, to Owen White it belongs no more. There's nobody starting a oh no, there is one man on a qualifying lap. It is Schnitzel for Alfa Romeo as he heads up towards turn number 9. It's a flick into the right, but what was the most difficult corner tonight in your race? I know there's a few new ones on the circuit.
Yeah, I just, mainly for me, I was struggling with race pace. I do like the new turn 10. It's not as flat out as I thought it would be when they introduced it. I feel like with the new turn 10, you've lost that opportunity of an overtake, you know, diving down the inside as it used to be. But I still think it's fairly a decent track, as Schnitzel's just gone fastest.
Great lap that one was. That's the one. He's pulled that out of the bag.
Yes. I'm just thinking if we're going to see anyone dip into the 116s, because I have been back in ERT HQ checking out some of the ERT drivers, and they are looking hopefully for the low high 16s, so we'll see if these lap times do improve.
Yeah, we will say now, one man who's been very good in qualifying is J. Cole. He's taken the last 2 pole positions. He took one in Imola and then took one in Hungary. He, of course, has a qualifying suspension, but his teammate Larkin, his championship rival, has been ever so consistent behind him.
As well.
And that is Larkin, yeah, spinning round. That's not what you want. It's Waitsy who we're on board with now. We're taking a look through that new turn number 10, which we were just talking about, and in towards the uphill right-hander. You don't want to take too much curb because that will rotate the car around, and for Waitsy it's not being the best of laps so far. We'll see where it puts him. It is green on all the sector times, but yeah, he's abandoned that one and straight into the pits. That time was not a good one. Thomas Mack has been a bit of an underperformer, some could say, this season. He's currently 4th in qualifying, but I am having a look on the TAS, and he does not have it calibrated, which may equal a 5-second time penalty. Of course, it's a bit of a harsh penalty, but rules are rules, and they must be followed. But he's marginally down on his lap. There was some time to pick up in the last sector, just having a look at the Delta times. He's definitely quicker in that last sector. We'll see, can he gain much here? Takes a low, no, takes too much curb there, and he's actually validated the time on entry. That is not really what you want at all. Man in second place is J. Luke, improving on his time as Schnitzel makes his way back into the pits. It's no purple sector for J. Luke so far, but he is improving on his time. He's marginally down. 0.033 is the gap And he's improving by. We'll see as he enters in towards the final sector. Of course, a corner that used to be fully flat to the... Not fully flat, it used to be a little bit of a lift to the right. Of course, it's the section that the MotoGP bikes use. It's not used in Formula 1 anymore. We have a couple of tricky chicanes. Here comes J. Luke towards the line. It's going to be pole position for the AlphaTauri. It's really his opportunity here to put some points on the board. In terms of the championship, he's not been doing too bad as J. Luke. He is 9th. There has been some poor performances in it, though. Not really due to his own pace, more due to his own luck. Schnitzel marginally down, but he's made a mistake there into the final 2 chicanes, and that is going to cost him.
And we've got the McLaren of Cam Rules just coming out of the final corner now as well.
Here comes Cam.
He's down on his time.
He's going to improve here. He's going to go to 9th. He beats Lukey, but Lukey with not really a representative lap. Of course, Lukey was one to watch in Imola. Had a great race there. It wasn't, well, said it wasn't as good in Hungary. I'm pretty sure he didn't race, but he's been consistent as Lukey. He's always gained, and he was very quick in Austria, but couldn't quite get off the mark that day. There was a lot of different contributing factors around the Red Bull Ring. It's a spin for one of the McLarens. It is Cam Rules who's gone off into the gravel, and there's an AlphaTauri going backwards there
as well.
Well, that's J. Luke. He's the only AlphaTauri here this evening, as Lukey with a great middle sector here. He's not gone purple on our Delta times on the TAS telemetry system, which you can access as well, of course, folks, if you're watching at home. It comes up on the screen that he is purple, but it's just a bit of a visual glitch we've had for a long time in the Formula 1 game. Rounding the final corner now, here is Lukey. Of course, there is 60 in corners, 7 to the left and 9 to the right, and Lukey goes to 6th with a 1:17.881 for the Aston Martin. It is a good improvement. He's not far off Colin O'Mason in 5th. Colin, of course, great performance in Hungary from Colin. Outperformed his teammate all across the board. It wasn't just a case of Nick spins. Colin genuinely seemed like the quicker driver.
Let's just seeing who's next on a lap, I believe.
Colin has the purple sector 1, actually. He's the quickest man in the first sector. He's on an outlap. It's not on this lap, but it was on a previous best, as I believe Okeke may be starting another flyer here for AlphaTauri. He seemed to do a cool down run, and he's going again. It wasn't a representative lap last time at all. It was about 20 seconds off the pace, which definitely means it was a cool down lap in towards turn number 1, using 5th gear, rotate the car in fully, take a big chunk of the curb actually there on the outside of 2, but you don't take any on the inside of 3. You're almost easing the car through turn number 3. It's not quite flat out, depending on what tyre pressures you run, and Okeke is slightly down in the first sector. This corner just seems like a never-ending apex. You really have to wait to get the power down, as there was an improvement there. It was actually weighty, as we were talking about weight thing, going to 7th. As Okeke goes up through 7 and 8 and heading in towards 9. Not a bad run this from the AlphaTauri, as there goes Larkin, the Red Bull man, trying to fight for a championship, as we see Okeke go across the gravel. Big run there for the AlphaTauri. He's definitely lost some time, and he has backed out as a result of that, but Larkin needs pole here today if he wants a chance at taking the championship lead heading into the final 2 rounds. The championship lead currently, or the championship gap, apologies, currently is 4 points between himself and teammate J. Cole. It is then a bit of a drop back to JM, of course, who did not score points in Hungary when practically everybody else did. That was the problem there for him. Colin O'Mason's ran into a spot of bother heading into the second sector. He seemed to take a bit of a spin round somewhere, has the Mercedes. Hopefully he can recover, as we do see an improvement there in the middle of the field. That is actually Thomas Mack gone to 3rd, and in the season which has been built off disappointment, that's not a bad qualifying run for the Alpine.
It's not at all, but that's a healthy gap that Larkin has got at the minute, just over 3 tenths, and it's just what he needs ahead of his teammates starting at the back of the grid. But we know that J. Cole has some really strong race pace, so expect to see him and possibly Nick make their way through the field in this race.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see Nick make the run through the field. Of course, if you're unsure of the one-hub racing rules, you do have to make 2 mandatory pit stops and take an engine change during the middle of the season. That is why Nick and J. Cole are not taking part in qualifying. Of course, J. Cole's teammate Larkin took the penalty in Hungary, and my oh my, it was some recovery drive to take P2. He was helped stopped a little bit by a safety car, but we'll brush that one under the carpet as Schnitzel is up on a time that is good enough to possibly put in pole position as he heads through the brand new section of corners up towards the uphill right-hander and heading in towards another right-hander, downshifting to about third gear. It's a really tricky one, this next chicane. Through 14 and 15 and heading into a flat out turn 16, not flat on the bike, absolutely flat out in these modern day Formula 1 cars. Across the line goes Schnitzel, and he does take pole position by some margin actually. Although, will Larkin be able to beat that with a bit of track evolution? We're going to have to wait and see.
Yes, we're getting ever closer to them high 16s, as I mentioned. So, yeah, it's going to be very tight for pole here. A bit of a gap for J-Luke in P3, but I'm sure he's going to be starting his lap soon.
I think he is. He has just started. Oh no, he's on a lap. He's going to be going on another one. We're looking at
second run by the looks of it.
Yeah, must have made a mistake somewhere along the line. We're looking at Cam Rules at the moment, but we will go on board with J-Luke in a couple of moments' time. Cam Rules is really looking to pick up his performances this season. I've been keeping an eye on him in other leagues, and he's been performing quite well. So it just seems to be a little bit of a one-hub racing curse for the Welshman as he heads in towards the final couple of corners, 14 and 15. Doesn't navigate it too badly, little bit delayed on the power. That could cost him some time here as he heads towards the line. It's going to be a middle of the ground 18 sort of for Cam Rules. He beats the other Cam in their little inter-name competition, and he does retire from the session as we're looking at J-Luke here in the middle sector. J-Luke haven't actually got a sector time for him there on the screen, which is surprising, but we'll see him here up towards turn number 10. Oh, he's gone wide. J-Luke has gone really wide there, and it almost was like weights. He kind of threw him off a little bit on the exit of the corner.
That was identical to his teammate, that was.
It was, yeah. It was Keke who did that earlier. Keke has just started a lap, actually. So was Colin Ormason. Colin was quick on his banker, made a mistake in his second run, so we'll see if he's back now. Heading in towards 1 and 2 comes the Mercedes. We'll see what he can do as he heads up towards turn 3. It was about here where he made the mistake the last time, we think. Didn't quite catch it on the stream, but we'll try and find out after. Although he's purple in sector number 1 as Colin Ormason. He's quick through there. Could that serve him good purpose in the race?
Could do, yeah. It's looking very slippery, that, the Mercedes. Just under a 10th up.
We'll see what he can do as there is an AlphaTauri on the inside, just letting him by through turn 10, much better than the AlphaTauris provided us with through that corner, through turn 9, apologies, this is turn 10. Whoa, that's a big middle sector from Colin Ormason. This could be a big improvement if he can nail this final sector. It seemed to be where he was struggling. He was about 3/10 off Larkin, who is the quickest man in the final sector. Is he going to send it? He seems to be taking it a little bit cautious. Just to get a good lap on the board. He's time in hand, so may as well go for it. Rounding the final corner, where can the Mercedes go on the grid? It's going to go onto the second row, and not a bad qualifying at all. 2 weeks running for Colin. But it's JM who's gone to the pole. The Williamsman just behind him, a 1:17 flat. Let's see what Larkin can return with. There's a 10th of a second in hand for Larkin here. He needs to improve on this run and capitalise on mistakes and qualifying penalties for his championship rival.
Larkin was up a 10th in the first sector.
He was, and we'll see, can he gain another 10th? If he was to only gain a 10th, it would be a second position start for Larkin. Schnitzel is, of course, done. He set his lap much earlier than the rest with about 3 minutes to go. Larkin is up in the second sector. It's really close for the Red Bull as Thomas Mack has actually been disqualified from the session.
Oh, wow.
For driving the wrong way. That's a horrible penalty to receive for Thomas Mack, who looked like he was just an innocent bystander in a bit of a tricky spin. But Larkin rounding 14 and 15. This is going to be oh so close between Red Bull and Williams, but Larkin has been on form in qualifying. Took pole at Interlagos. Can he take pole in Spain? Larkin across the line. No, he can't. Wow. It's only going to be P3 for Larkin. That's an utter disappointment for Red Bull Racing in a qualifying session that they were almost tipped to take pole in. The soon-to-be Constructors' Championships, they are leading by a landslide, but it will be a best start of P3 here for Larkin. That's going to be disappointing for the young man.
It definitely will. I think he'll be very disappointed when he sees the gap.
Yeah, it's
three are
really...
extremely
5 place
close.
grid penalty for Cam K, and Cam has just put in Ferrari's best qualifying result of the season. Oh, that's a bit harsh, because it's all AI cars, and I think Cam's just picked up a 10-second time penalty, which will drop the Ferrari to the back, and it was the best qualifying result of the season. Apart from Owen Wyatt's qualifying in Hungary, but Owen was just a stand-in for them last time out. That's disappointing, and of course Thomas Mack being disqualified bumps J. Cole and Nick up 2 positions, so it could be interesting. What's your thoughts on that session though overall? It was quite an interest. Oh, Cam's been disqualified.
Oh, that's even more of a bigger blow for him now.
That's even
back of the grid for Cam.
Oh, Cam will not take that lightly. That's for sure. Cam was in our chat earlier saying quite hungry. He needs to make some food, but a disqualification and qualifying is not how Ferrari planned at the end of that session to go. But it was JM on pole position ahead of fellow German Schnitzel in second. It's a German 1-2. ERT Larkin in third, followed by Colin or Mason in fourth. Cam, of course, would start at the back, so it'll be J. Luke then next in fifth, Lukey sixth, Joom in seventh, the Spaniard on his debut, Waitsy in eighth, followed by Okeke in ninth. Cam Rolls will get a top 10 start ahead of Nick. J. Cole, and then I believe it will be Cam K, and then Thomas Mack, but we'll just have to wait and see how the game decides that one. But honestly, Cam's penalty is so undeserved, because the car was under AI, but just as per every week, we're just going to take a moment here, folks, just to run you through our quick sponsors. Thank you to all our sponsors, of course, and of course we have to thank Next Level Racing for sponsoring the league by providing prizes, Pure Sim Gear for sponsoring the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver with the most combined pole positions and fastest laps over the course of a season. Our new sponsor for this season sponsors the league by providing Gamer Goo samples to trophy winners, and Matthew tells me every week he'd love to try one. And then our partners quickly are Vespertine, who sponsor championship prizes, ERT sponsor the Going Gets Tough Award, and SimGrid, who power our community and our platform. Make sure to check out our social channels and our Discord. I'm not quite sure if Formation Lap is turned on or not, but we'll find out in 3, 2, 1 as we head onto the grid. I know there is a bit of a fix for it on the game files, but not sure if it's implemented yet. Formation Lap's not on. Here we go, folks. 5 red lights in Catalunya, and we go racing here in Spain, in the north of Barcelona. JM's got a bit of a poor getaway. Schnitzel is up alongside the Alfa Romeo already, down in towards turn number 1. Colin Mason up to third, looking to draft a bit, and there's actually been a bit of contact. It is for Lukey in Aston Martin. He's ran into the back of the Red Bull Championship rival of Larkin, side by side almost up to turn number 3. JM holds the lead from Schnitzel. Then it's Larkin, June the home hero. It's got a flyover start up to 5th here. 2 spots gained for him. Cam Rules up 3 spots, and Lukey is falling down the order. It's a Keke who's gone off the track, and an Alvateri nightmare continues. They're down to 13th and 14th on the opening lap here of the ERT Barcelona Grand Prix. Horror start there for the Italian-based team, but JM has gone away well up the front here, followed by Schnitzel. Colin Mason picking up a spot and getting himself onto the podium. Larkin with a poor getaway. J. Cole, though, your biggest gainer on the opening lap with 4 spots, as it looks like Thomas Mack and Nick. It's actually a free wide here, but Lukey seems to be conceding position due to him having wing damage. Nick trying a bit of a switchback on the Alpine in front, but Thomas Mack is going to hold this one. A slightly hectic turn 1 there.
It sure was, yeah. Poor getaway for Larkin, but you know, he's only lost the 1 spot. Great getaway for Colin, and he's up into P3. Lukey has lost a bit of ground. I do believe he has front wing damage, and indeed he does. He is into the pits, and a nightmare start for the AlphaTauri boys.
Yeah, horrible start for the AlphaTauri boys. Schnitzel in the slipstream already, trying to get a run on our race leader. Schnitzel has not won a race this season. There's been some impressive performances for the Alfa Romeo Sauber driver, but he just hasn't quite got his hands on the first place champagne, as there's a bit of a battle. Oh no, it's not a battle between the 2 AlphaTauris. It is J. Luke who has gone off the circuit here, but it does look like there is a bit of a battle developing with Waitsy, Joom and Larkin. Larkin struggling on the opening lap in the opening 2 laps here in this race, but that is due to that, folks. Larkin Starting on the medium compound of tyres, all the guys starting on the softs as Cam Rules has gone round. Cam Rules has found a gravel trap, unfortunately, on the exit of turn number 8, and that is the orange McLaren gone for a bit of a spin, which is unfortunate. But just to cut back to what we were saying, the soft compound tyres will drop off really quickly here. We'll see these guys into the pits very, very soon.
We will indeed. I think you're looking at 5-6 laps max. I stretched my softs 9 laps, which was a bad mistake because I lost a lot of ground and I was just defending for my life. So yeah, the next 2 to 3 laps I think we'll start seeing the front runners into the box.
There goes June past Larkin. That is the new Ferrari livery, of course. We haven't really had time to address it. It's been a hectic start here to a great night of racing, hopefully, in the P2 tier. But June is up to 4th, the Spaniard on home soil. Is proving a good new addition for the Ferrari team. That's J-Lu getting past Cam, although Cam's going to keep it on the inside of the AlphaTauri side by side. The two men who have fallen down the order due to spins, they're having a great little scrap here. Cam holds it up the inside, but J-Lu has been a very quick driver all season and will be looking to get this one done to try and catch up on the softs versus the mediums. But I have to say, Cam not doing a bad job of defending this one, and the AlphaTauri's found the grass. And that seems to be a common story for AlphaTauri today, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's right, yeah. I think by the looks of it, Larkin might just be easing these tyres in. I think he's just letting the soft runners get by and do their own thing because he knows he's staying out late, and potential safety car could play into his hands later on in the race.
The weather is looking very dull here, but there's no rain forecasted on our telemetry system. However, it is getting quite dull, as that is Doom already into the pits on lap number 4. That is quite an early stop, I'd say. Here comes Thomas Mack, though, for Alpine. He's going to make a move on J. Cole here, and that's not a move they expected. Thomas Mack, of course, started behind J. Cole, and he's dived down the inside of the championship leader. The Red Bull holds it round the outside. It's dangerous territory for a championship leader to be battling with somebody like this, but J. Cole has the talent and clearly has the skill because he's kept it clean round the outside, and J. Cole will hold 6th spot here. However, seems to be struggling quite a bit as Cam Rules is out of the session at turn 2. Could we get the first safety car of the race here, folks? There was no safety car in Hungary. Doesn't seem like the safety car is being brought out here in Catalonia either. It's Cam Rules, unfortunately, out of the race. We seen he had a spin through turn 8, and the McLaren has found a barrier. No safety car though. We continue green for the time being as Schnicksel is trying to pressure our race leader. Will one of these guys try and undercut, or is it too early to be talking about those sort of tactics?
I'm thinking maybe that's why the Ferrari of Doom has pitted early than expected and getting the softs off and try and stretch these mediums. It's going to be a stretch, but it is doable to do a soft medium soft run. Unless a safety car comes out, Doom puts the hard tyres on. That's his second stop done of the day.
We'll wait and see, though. It's definitely interesting strategy-wise as Nick is gaining and gaining on Thomas Mack, but Thomas Mack has a DRS assistance from the championship leader in front of him as it stands. I don't think the championship would swing because Larkin is not performing as well as he'd like so far. He's actually losing time to Colin in front, but of course Colin's on the better tyres, so it's only really to be expected. Thomas Mack with a big spin, and that's come out of nowhere for the Alpine. He was almost in a straight line and he's dropped the car there, unfortunately, and has also reset to track, unfortunately. So if one of the stewards is watching us here in P2, it will be a 5-second time penalty for Thomas Mack. The only man to receive a penalty last week was Nick, and it was for that exact reason. He reset the track. We caught it on stream, and unfortunately one of the stewards was watching.
Well, that's unfortunate for him. Ooh, we've got Cam, bit of a tank slapper then. He's gaining on Nick. He's in the DRS, so potential move for him if he can get it close enough into the final corner.
Yeah, it seems like that spin for Thomas. Oh, we have a pitter. We have Waitsy trying the undercut. He has pit. The tyres are not doing too bad for the front runners, about 31% on each as Waitsy. With an earlier stop, he was about the same. So it's tyres aren't doing too bad. I think these overcast and more cooler conditions are kind of helping the guys here with their tyre saving, but we should see the front three in any time soon, realistically. And I'm surprised Schnitzel isn't pushing for a move to try and lead into the pits, although almost made a bit of a mistake there, and that is a mistake. That is Okeke, who's gone round actually through turn number 2. He spun it there in the exit, exact same place as Cambril spun it. However, Okeke has spun in a different way and has kept it on the track, but he's been overtaken by his teammate J-Luke. Not good. Not a good feeling at all to be overtaken by your teammate due to an error, but he has the man who is leading on terms of the pit stop.
J-Luke's gone.
J-Luke's gone. Alpha Terrier not having a good time this evening at all. That is horrible to see both your cars spinning the same lap. They did it in qualifying, they did it in the race, and Thomas Mack picks up a very second time penalty. Front three running in unison. Will we see any pit stops here? We don't. All staying out, so could we be getting a bit of a wet patch possibly? I did have a look on the telemetry system and it's just saying overcast. It's a 17% chance of rain thereabouts, so yeah, I'm surprised they're staying out for this long, but clearly the tyres feel okay. However, Larkin has put himself back in the picture.
Yes, and
big snap, massive snap for Colin Orr Mason. He's held it really well, but his teammate hasn't, and Nick has just spun in turn number 1. I'm not sure if he was going for a move, and that's what caused that, but Nick has spun, and Nick's championship hopes are just dropping and dropping every single corner. Oh no, and this seems to be a bit of a theme. Both teams' cars have spun round for a second time, and Colin Orr Mason has gone spinning. Same lap as teammate Nick did.
Put J. Cole up into P4.
And now Okeke has gone round as well at the back. It's all kicking off here in Catalonia. The guys are really struggling out on track. And J. Cole is up to 4th and only 5 seconds behind his championship rival of ERT Larkin. We should definitely see some pit stops maybe from Schnitzel here to try trigger a bit of an undercut. It's actually it's Okeke who's gone round, so AlphaTauri have done it again, unfortunately, and there we go. Schnitzel has triggered the undercut. He has pit here. And we'll see where the Alfa Romeo will come out on the circuit. It'll be Larkin up to 2nd and everyone bumping up one more. And Colin Orr Mason takes the bollard with him, but he's also into the pits after contact there. Who made the contact with Colin? Did he try sending Schnitzel?
It was Larkin just into was it turn 5? Just tapped the back of him ever so slightly and then just spun the car around.
So it could possibly be a penalty for Larkin there as well. That could quite be the case, and Joom has come out ahead of Colin Orr Mason. He's now come out ahead of Schnitzel, so the undercut attempt in hindsight was not a good call from Joom. Colin will come out behind Waitsy, but he lost a lot of time due to the spin. That is why Colin has dropped a few spots now. We'll see, can JM react to Schnitzel's call? Of course, Larkin and J. Cole and Cam and Nick and Thomas will be staying out for longer as J. Luke has gone for another spin round at the back. And it seems like AlphaTauri are having a little bit of a battle for the wooden spoon here.
Yeah, I was watching a few laps on board with Schnitzel, and he was always gaining on JM into the final sector. And he's got a good gap ahead of him, and he got out ahead of the Ferrari, so he's got clear air to try and push on this out lap. And JM is in.
JM is in, and Schnitzel go through the last sector. That could be huge here, because the last sector is where you really need to gain all your time while the other guy's in the pits. So JM will be pitting, presumably for either a set of the mediums or for a set of the hards. I can't imagine he's going for another set of softs. It is the medium compound tyres for JM, so he's trying possibly a soft, medium, soft here. There's Schnitzel coming through the final corner. There's JM exiting the pits, and as he looks out, JM might just have this one. There goes the Alpine of Thomas Mack, and JM is miles ahead. What happened to Schnitzel on his outlap? The undercut has not worked here. Unless JM really struggles to get his tyres warmed, I fear Schnitzel may not even get back in a DRS window. That's a big mistake for Schnitzel, whatever happened on that outlap.
It is, that's surprising, and he's lost well over a second in that. So I don't think he'll be best pleased with that.
That's really changed the game here, because now this brings the two Red Bulls back into play, because Schnitzel's clearly lost some time somewhere. They're not due to pit for another few laps, however their tyres are still about 30 32% on those Red Bulls, so they're not feeling too pretty. But we spoke to J. Cole, of course, as one of racing before the race to do his pre-race interview, and he said he enjoys the track. It's definitely more comfortable for him than last year's game, and he'll see how it goes, is his thoughts there. Of course, we spoke to the man behind him, Cam, as well, and Cam doesn't say much in interviews. It's been one-word answers for the entire season, and it's going to stay that way. So I haven't even written
JM down the pit straight.
JM past Thomas Mack. JM now with a car in between himself and Schnitzel. JM actually ran a bit wide there. Thomas Mack could possibly get the run back on him. No, not able to. JM just has to pace on those old medium tyres, I think. JM still technically your provisional race leader, serving one pit stop here. Oh, Thomas Mack actually making a mistake there. He could hold up Schnitzel. If Schnitzel catches up here in the wrong part of the track, Schnitzel really needs to do with getting this move done pretty quickly. Yellow flag. It's just one of the AlphaTauris again, and he's gone for it up in towards turn number 9. Unbelievable move for Schnitzel, but there is a yellow flag for Lukey, who's crashed out, and the safety car has been brought out in perfect time for Red Bull Racing, and this could really be the swing that Larkin and J. Cole needed to win the Spanish Grand Prix. They will have to double stack, but Larkin has already dived into the pits. Not good news for JM and Schnitzel, who have only just made their pit stops. Will they be in for the hard tyres? We will have to wait and see. All the front four are into the pits. What's JM going to do? JM stays out, Schnitzel is in, so it's split strategies for the Germans. We will see where Larkin comes out in relation to JM. I think JM could be good here. I think he could still take the lead of the race. There's JM passing Larkin. JM holds the lead of the race, but Schnitzel will drop down to 6th. It is the soft compound tyres for Cam, J. Cole and Nick. They'll be very quick here, but look at Joom. Joom is up to 3rd. Great decision. Possible? No, it's not really a great decision from June, because he is going to be on 7-lap all tyres compared to fresh soft. Waitsy will split J. Cole and Nick. Nick will not get a straight run at his championship rival, and Colin Mason stayed out on the hard tyres, so he is behind his teammate now, which is not good news for him, because he was much better than Nick so far in this race. But Larkin has gone for the hard tyres. Softs for Cam, J. Cole, Nick, and then the hard tyres for Schnitzel, Thomas Mack and J-Luke. But Lukey out of the race for Aston Martin. We're down to 12 runners. If you finish the race, you score points.
Yeah, so interestingly, Schnitzel, the only guy that has done his 2 stops now, so he's on the hard tyres, he can go to the end. Interestingly, the Red Bulls have split strategy, and so is the Ferraris, so I wonder if June will let Cam get by straight away.
We'll have to see. I know Cam is driving with a little bit of anger on board. I've opened the chat to see what Cam's reaction was after the penalty. Yeah, safe to say, Cam is not happy in the cockpit of the Ferrari. There was a couple of screams, there was a couple of words I cannot say on YouTube for very legal reasons, and yeah, just general anger. But I mean, I would be very, very angry as well if that happened to me. But Cam running 4th now, so still a good result if it stayed like this, especially starting from 14th on the grid. But JM's led races before. That's what's happened here. Oh, J. Cole into the pits. Could this be hard tyres to the end and J. Cole's just served his 2 mandatory pit stops? Or is this a bit of a shocker of a call? It is hard tyres, but what do you think of that one?
I am surprised with that. Maybe it might have been the wrong decision to put the softs on, or maybe it's tactics and hard tyres till the end. Because apart from Cam
Nick's
now,
did the exact same thing.
Majority of the field are on the hard tyres.
Safety cars are not common in World Racing either, so the soft tyres will drop off fairly quickly. Oh, this is an interesting call. There's still a lot of laps to the end of this race, and with hard tyre wear around Catalonia being ever so present on the Formula 1 2022 game, we're really going to have to see here, because I find that one quite peculiar. But there's a reason these two guys are fighting for a championship, and good calls like these make a good champion. So we'll have to wait and see, does this one work out for those guys? But still JM leading, and JM will be feeling a little bit happier now because it's only one car on the softs behind him compared to the 3.
Indeed, and I wouldn't like to be the Ferrari in P3 with Cam Zanger behind him.
No, I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't like to be anyone in the field with Cam Zanger behind, as there was a bit of dust thrown up by somebody there. I really don't know who, but this is, of course, the 25th race in One Hub Racing around Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya. It was 23 before tonight, and sometimes I do struggle to add 2 numbers to a number, so it's 25 races. This is the 11th season of racing in the Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya for One Hub Racing, a track that was opened on the 10th of September in 1991. If you ever were asked that in a pub quiz of when was Circuit of Barcelona open, there is your answer. It was Luis Perez Sala who won the opening race. I think it was the Spanish touring car race, but in all honesty, I don't really know. I don't think fact geeks know that one off by heart just yet. But last season in One Hub Racing was very interesting across all tiers. If you didn't watch One Hub Racing back last season, 1, you should have, and 2, it was a lot of late safety cars, so it could be a possibility once again this season, as we are just waiting on one of the AlphaTauris to catch up. It was Keke who has now pulled into the pits, and we should be in and going green flag at the end of this lap with 13 laps on the board. Still a lot to go here. Make sure to stick with us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I did check about an hour before the stream, and we had 699 subscribers. Have we crossed 700? No, not just yet. So subscribe, folks. Subscribe and get us to 700 while on the stream with us, because we'll both take.
You won't be disappointed.
We'll take all the credit for getting us to 700. So make sure to do that and check out all our other tiers. I think P3 tier has just about finished, but you can catch the P1 tier after us with Jamie and Liam. Of course, you don't want to miss that one, but concentrating on our own tier, we're going to go racing anytime soon, folks.
Yep. So we've got a good 20 laps ahead of us. Biggest mover at the minute is Cam in the Ferrari. He's up 10 positions. It's going to be interesting to see how he does on these softs. He needs to get moves done quickly, otherwise he's just going to fall down the field come towards the end of the race.
The guys who have served their mandatory pit stops are Schnitzel, J. Cole, Nick, Akeke and J. Luke, all serving their mandatory pit stops, and all can go to the end of the race legally. Whether their tyres will hold up is another question. It'll be JM who leads us away in the safety car restart, not for the first time this season either. Williams has had some very good performances this season, with Larkin behind. Anything could happen. Larkin is really quick and is fighting for a driver's world title, but we're going to get ready here in the Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya in Montebello, and we go racing in Spain once again. JM has got a good restart in all fairness, but Larkin has stayed with him down the long straight, 1.3 kilometres in fact, as Larkin is going to slipstream in towards turn number 1. Not quite working. Ferrari already side by side. Cam K is gone round the outside of June, but June is battling this one. There's no team orders at Scuderia Ferrari, and they've almost made contact around turn number 3, but Cam does get the position, and now up to 3rd spot on the provisional podium. A lot of work if the Ferrari wants to finish there, but it is ever so possible. Schnitzel on the back of Colin Mason. Schnitzel on better tyres, and something's gone on here with J. Luke. Something has happened there. He's lost a couple spots due to possibly the actions of Thomas Mack, not Thomas Mack colliding with him, just Thomas Mack going for some moves, and J. Luke being boxed in, or J. Cole even being boxed in, as June was falling right off the back of Cam. The top 3 have absolutely gone here. Cam is right behind Larkin though. Keep an eye on Cam, because that Ferrari is going to be rapid down the straights on the soft compound tyres with the slipstream, but JM still leads after the safety car restart lap here on lap 14 of the ERT Barcelona Grand Prix. But everybody looking a little bit cautious here. No drastic moves at this stage in the race, as Schnitzel's actually made a mistake there, and Colin is into the pits. So something's happened to Colin. He feels he can no longer continue. There's no notification of damage or anything on our telemetry, but clearly something has gone on to cause that pit stop for the Mercedes. No move up above for Cam, but Cam is pouncing on the gearbox of the Oracle Red Bull Racing car in front of ERT Larkin. Of course, ERT are always fan favourites in one-hub racing, but Cam wants to change that motive and get up to second place.
Yes, he's already pulled 1.3 out of his teammate, ahead of his teammate, and yeah, he needs to get these moves done sharpish, because them softs are not going to last much longer.
No, they really aren't. He's already breaking the 25% tyre wear boundary, so he needs to make moves quickly, because Cam is going to be into the pit sooner rather than later at this point, and the Ferrari's going to have to start getting racy on the back of Larkin to possibly catch up to our race leader JM, who has cleared 1 second of Larkin, so Larkin is struggling on these hard tyres. Cam needs to capitalise on this, because Cam's teammate is catching up at this point. Have the tyres already dropped off? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but they don't look like they have for the time being, as Cam is 0.5 of a second behind the Red Bull here on the straight. Larkin's got a much better exit out of the chicane, and I think Cam might even struggle at this to get the job done. Oh, here we go, folks! Thomas Mack versus Nick versus J. Cole versus the two Alpha Tauris. Look at this! The two championship rivals slipstreaming down the main straight. We could go about 3 or 4 wide here if we're not careful. Down into the braking zone. J. Cole, the championship leader, can't brake later than Nick. Nick hangs it round the outside. Does the two-time race winner this season, and the Mercedes is not going to be able to keep this position. J. Cole proves why he's leading the championship with a fantastic move. It tipped the inside of turn number 3. It was the outside to the inside for J. Cole, but J. Cole is up to 7th here, is the Red Bull. Fantastic move on Nick, but he's got to defend it, because no DRS will be in play for the Red Bull next time we go down the main straight.
Great battle in side-by-side action by both drivers, you know, both
oh, yellow flags. It's Joom. Joom has gone off, the home hero. Spanish hearts may sink into the laps, because Joom has gone off. It's 12 lap old hearts for Joom, and is there damage? There is damage there for Joom. Unfortunately, Ferrari have gonna have to pit the Sky and get him in for a new front wing and new tyres, and Cam's tyres are falling off as well, as Joom has gone around again, unfortunately, and oh, that's awful for Joom. Not in last because of Colin or Mason's pit stop, but Joom is falling down the order. Schnitzel right on the back of Waitsy, a battle that has been going on for quite a while, and that is Joom around at the back again. Is Schnitzel going to send a late one on the McLaren? Better tyres on the Alfa Romeo, but not a stupid move in the locker of Schnitzel. Very cool, calm and collected driver. And just take a look at Alpha Tauri. They had possibly one of the worst race starts I've ever seen in the opening 5 laps, and they're now running 8th and 9th.
They did indeed. And the battle's on again between them.
Oh, look at Schnitzel. Look at Schnitzel treading the needle around the outside of the McLaren, but the McLaren is going to defend it, and Schnitzel is going to try the up and under. It doesn't quite work for the Alfa Romeo, but Schnitzel definitely has the better pace of the two. Waitsy running wide at Schnitzel. Oh, he finesses him into that one. That was a beautifully executed move by Schnitzel. Seeing Waitsy made the mistake and darted up the inside, and the Alfa Romeo is now got a bit of clean air in front of him for the first time since the safety car restart. Schnitzel up to 4th after battling for the lead in this one. His rival for today, I suppose you could say, in the form of JM, is he's about 7 seconds-ish up the road, so he needs to get a move on here. Does Schnitzel? That's a yellow flag for Joom, who has just pitted, so the Ferrari's race has just really gone downhill since he had those couple of spins. But going down the main straight here, this could be a right bout between the two Alpha Tauris. J-Luke will get DRS, so will Okeke, but Okeke, is he using his battery? No, he is not, so the Alpha Tauri gotta just stick behind for the time being, as Waitsy cannot make a move past Schnitzel. That could be Schnitzel's chance to go, as gotta say, Cam has not made that many moves compared to what I thought he was going to do.
No, he's not. The last 2-3 laps, the gap stayed stable at half a second. I think the tyres are starting to go. That move was important for Schnitzel. He's got a nice healthy gap ahead of him now, and he is the lead car on the 2 stops. He is going to the end of the race. Will the tyres have enough grip to come towards the end? Got a good chance of winning.
Cam has run wide there on the curb. May have picked up a warning. No, hasn't picked up a warning for that, so it was genuinely just a little bit of running wide, but overall Cam is still in a good spot because 5.7 seconds ahead of the car behind is it's never a bad thing in racing, I suppose, unless you're being lapped. But two AlphaTauris still running well, and that's Doom actually retiring in the pits, so we're down to 11 runners here in Barcelona. No safety car or anything will be brought out for that because that is in the pit lane. That is in a safe spot, and Doom, unfortunately, his race went really downhill very, very quickly for one of the Ferraris.
Go for a move into turn 1? He's getting ever so closer to J. Cole again.
Nick is really trying to pressure a move after J. Cole made that overtake. J. Cole's just getting a bit bogged down behind the McLaren of Waitsy. Of course, these two guys are planning on going to the end on the set of hard compound tyres. It's still a few people who do have to make their second mandatory pit stops. We can run you through those now. It is JM, Larkin, Waitsy and Thomas Mack still to make their second mandatory pit stop here in One Hub Racing P2 tier. But is Nick and J. Cole battling here for what could really see Nick keeping his championship hopes alive. They're on a thin line, but Nick could keep his championship hopes alive by beating J. Cole this evening.
He could, yeah, he could. I mean, because he's only 3 points behind JM, who's leading at the minute. And with Larkin in P2, it's going to swing again. And we've only got 2 rounds to go, so it's still pretty much a 4-horse race if Nick can get these moves done.
Cam in. And Waitsy. Cam and Waitsy both into the pits now. This unleashes Nick on the back of a no DRS J. Cole. Probably not the technical term for it, but J. Cole has no DRS in front and Nick does behind. J. Cole actually could still get some off Schnicksel if he pushes hard enough, but we'll have to wait and see. If you're watching the stream, let us know your thoughts down below on if you're enjoying the race, if you have any predictions or any questions about One Hub Racing. We're more than happy to answer them here in the commentary box, and we're over the halfway point in this Grand Prix now. J. Cole sets purple sector 1 as quick as that, so still a lot of pace in the monocoque of the Red Bull.
There is. I think he's just looking after his tyres because he knows he's got to get them to the end, and his teammate still has to pit, as does JM. So both of his title rivals still need to pit.
Yeah, it's still all to play for here. It really is. Of course, JM he's been really passive in this championship so far in terms of his interview statements and stuff. Heading into this one, he said he's going into the race without a target. He just wants to drive and he just wants to have some fun tonight. He said that before practically every race, but he's performed marvellously in all of them. But J. Cole sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and he's got himself back into a DRS window, almost a Schnicksel in front. He will be in it by the time we reach the next DRS zone between turn number 9 and turn number 10. Nick has kept with him, and so has J. Lucan, so has Akeke, but Akeke will be coming into the pits very, very soon on those soft compound tyres. They are all but dead at this point in the Grand Prix. But our top 2 are still running 7.5 seconds clear of Schnicksel in third. However, these two guys do need to make a pit stop.
Yes, unfortunate for Okeke. He's going to have to make a third stop in this race. But, you know, a late safety car still could help his race out towards the end.
Yeah, we still could get one. We still could definitely get another safety car towards the end of this race, which would see a lot of guys jump in the pits, I feel. We definitely see the long-term hard compound tyres runners running into bits.
I feel JM's mediums are starting to die ever so slightly.
Yeah, they've just gone over the 40% mark. His right rear has gone to 43%, and that's not going to slow down at any point. That'll keep wearing and possibly wear more. So he's going to be into the pits very soon. Larkin can continue on for another while. Larkin's tyres are in good condition, but it's the rules that are stopping Larkin from going to the end in this one, because his tyres are the exact same as those behind, but just has to make another pit stop. And in hindsight, it was a good call possibly for J. Cole and Nick here, but it all depends on what Larkin's pace is when he comes out of the pit lane, as we see Akeke into the pit lane for a set of the hard compound tyres. It's a 2-lap old use set that Akeke started the race, or not started the race on, one of the ones that he did used near the start of the race and then had a spin. So they'll easily make the end. Akeke will get to the end, but is 3.1 seconds adrift of Waitsy in P11.
Yeah, just looking at the previous tyres, it looks like JM's doing the strategy I tried, doing the soft, medium, soft run, because Larkin behind started on the mediums, now on the hards, so I assume he's going to be putting the softs on for his second stint. So it could be both drivers on set of softs for the end of the race.
Oh, they'll be really, really quick on those. It's literally going to depend on what the gap is between them and J. Cole, Schnicksel and Nick. We can't forget Schnicksel in this one because he's running really well. Oh, it's a yellow flag. It's Thomas Mack. It's Thomas Mack who's gone round at the back, and Thomas still has to make another pit stop as well, so it's not going well for Alpine. He may finish outside the top 10. We'll still get some points. It's top 12 will get points, and then there's a point for the fastest lap inside the top 10 and for a fastest lap outside the top 10. So we'll have to wait and see if that one plays out. But Larkin is still on the back of JM. However, JM is definitely starting to feel the track turn to ice below him. That is what the Williams is going to feel like as he heads up through turn number 9. You can see the ERS is flashing. He's using everything just to keep a race lead here, but they are massively extending the gap to this train of the longer term hard compound tyre runners, as we've been calling them. Gap up the front though has just really decreased, so there could be a mistake from either of the two. The soft compound tyres wouldn't make the end from here. That's the problem for JM.
No.
He'd have to keep going on, I believe, but Larkin is just sticking with him here. They're kind of working together a little bit, I suppose, to pull away from the pack behind.
They do, yeah. They need to keep going. JM can probably go another couple of laps, and then he should be okay on the softs.
Here we go. J. Cole is going to pass. Oh, late move for Schnicksel. Really late defensive move there for the Alfa Romeo. J. Cole not happy, but J. Cole really overcommits for the corner. Schnicksel has been a bit of a king of the switchbacks this evening so far. It's not worked on this time. He's got to try it again through a flat out turn number 3. Up the inside of the Red Bull, who's late on the brakes. J. Cole has it clear. He used a bit of his battery, and J. Cole now leads the train, but he runs really wide. Schnicksel on the outside once again. Red Bull on the inside. The championship leader is trying to make the move stick. He's ran wide. J. Cole has ran wide. Schnicksel gets back through. Schnicksel about 4 switchback attempts in consecutive corners. One has paid off. Schnicksel defends the spot. Still in 3rd place here. Nick pulling out a line just to try and get a bit of free air. Does J. Cole have damage? J. Cole has damage. The championship leader is falling. J. Cole has damage on his Oracle Red Bull racing car, and he's really struggling here. I'm not sure where the damage has come from, but there is no front left end plate on board the Red Bull. Nick is trying everything around the outside. He's throwing everything at him to possibly make a mistake, and this is when JM capitalises and pits while the gap did increase really rapidly. What's J. Cole going to do? J. Cole's carrying on despite the injured front wing on the Red Bull. He's really going to struggle. Nick needs to get this move done ASAP as JM pulls into the pits. Here we go. Mercedes versus Red Bull, not for the first time as well, into turn number 1. Really late send from the 2-time winner this season. Puts the Red Bull off the circuit here, and is now on the outside of J. Cole. J. Cole's doing everything to defend here and doing quite a good job of it as well. Nick needs to brake late to beat J. Cole, as J. Cole has proved he is a man for defending. He's run really wide, just like we've seen himself and Schnicksel run. Nick is going to be passed possibly in towards turn number 5. Nick is passed into turn number 5. J-Luke sends a massive one around the outside. It's not worked, but that was an optimistic send for the AlphaTauri. He's nothing to lose in the championship. He can do what he likes. He's just pushing to have some fun in this one. Nick has passed J. Cole. This could have some big implications for a possible championship flip here. Larkin, as it stands, would take the championship lead as J-Luke with a little bit of a dummy. Up the inside goes the AlphaTauri. Oh, Nick spun! Oh, no! Nick has spawned into J. Cole, and both guys have picked up damage, and a 5-second time penalty for Nick. Some would say J. Cole has been saved there. Thomas Mack passes J. Cole, and just as J. Cole pulls off a little bit of a dummy created by the one and only Nigel Mansell, he has been hit by Nick, and all three guys are into the pits. Just look how quick a Grand Prix can turn around. They were on course for possibly a 1-2-3 in this one. No, now JM is up to third, Schnitzel is in second, and Larkin has an 11.45 second lead. However, Larkin's going slowly. We are under the virtual safety car.
Wow. Yeah, I just seen Nick just spin, and J-Luke had nowhere to go but straight into him. And yeah, all three in the pits with damage. This might help out Thomas a bit, because he pitted also for the soft tyres, but he didn't have any damage.
Yeah, Thomas, this will help him out a bit. He's jumped J-Luke and Nick, as J-Luke has had to go on the mediums because he's used all his softs already today. As we should stop talking. We should stop talking.
Commentator's curse.
Thomas Mack has received a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, so in the end, the virtual safety car hasn't really helped Thomas Mack. A kick is right on the back of J. Cole, though. However, with J. Cole on the fresh softs as Larkin dives into the pits, this is the battle now. Larkin versus JM is the battle to the end of this race, although they do have to catch Schnitzel, so we're in for a bit of a tussle. As it stands, Larkin would take the championship lead heading into the second final week of One Hub Racing. Here's JM rounding the final corner. It's going to be an easy overtake for JM here, as there is Larkin and JM is clear. So JM keeps the lead of the ERT Barcelona Grand Prix, but he does have Larkin right behind. These two are now the peloton. Schnitzel, the race leader. They're going to be charging down on Schnitzel on the fresh softs. Schnitzel just needs to hope that lap counter ticks over exceptionally quickly, and Schnitzel wants to do anything but turn back time, I feel. I think he just wants an accelerate button on the game.
Oh, he spun!
Oh no.
He spun out of the chicane.
And Schnitzel maybe does want to turn back time, because it's a mistake for the Alfa Romeo, and JM now takes the race lead in unbelievable circumstances. JM takes the race lead, and now it is a three-way scrap, and yeah, that's down two commentator curses on the bounce, I feel.
Yeah, he got on that yellow sausage curb on the exit of 7 onto 8, and car just spat him
pressure's got to him. He led the race, and he's drove exceptionally well all day, but it's going to be a best of P3 here unless JM and Larkin make contact, because there's no way he's defending Larkin for the next few laps. In fact, he's probably not going to even keep the spot in the turn. He's not going to even keep the spot on this lap, actually. He's lost it before the start-finish line, and Larkin, now up to second, needs to try catch JM, and it'll be JM versus Larkin. Two championship rivals battling to take the race win. J. Cole is 9/10 off Waitsy, so J. Cole is looking to try fight back, and Colin Mason. Oh, Colin Mason's really going to struggle to the finish here on those mediums. It's doable, but he may struggle at having the ever so quick J. Cole behind. Gap up the front is already lower than a second. Larkin on the move.
He is indeed. This is going to be a battle to the end with these top two. Cam seems to be struggling on these hard tyres, even though Colin's on worn mediums. He's still staying with him.
This, if it was to finish like this, or it was to finish Larkin JM would be brought back into the championship fight here, because he'd still be picking up points over J. Cole, the championship leader. It would be really close heading into the final two races, which of course you can catch over the next 2 weeks here in One Hub Racing, but it would bring JM back in. Nick is gone. As it stands, Nick can no longer mathematically win the driver's title, as Larkin sets the fastest lap of the ERT Barcelona Grand Prix, fitting for an ERT man to win it. But ERT do sponsor every race in the season, so I suppose you could say it's fitting for an ERT man to win every race. But in towards turn 2, yellow flag. It is the AlphaTauri curse is back. That's J-Luke, who has gone round. He was involved in that contact as J. Cole has passed the Ferrari. Here comes Larkin up the inside of the race leader. Larkin has gone for it, and Larkin has taken the race lead here as quick as you like. The Red Woman leads in Barcelona. JM had nothing for him, no defence whatsoever, and the Williams winner is going to saunter home to P2 here, unless Larkin does make a mistake, and it wouldn't surprise me after the commentator curses we've handed out tonight, but JM is going to have to settle for second unless he can get him back in the DRS here. It's fairly even on tyres, but JM will just have a little bit more, where he's about 4 or 5% only, so really not too much, because we did do a bit of a JM stint under the virtual safety car, of course.
We did indeed.
Yellow flag. Thomas Mack has gone round at the back, and unfortunately that's not the first time we've said that this season. Thomas Mack has really struggled in most races, and it's unfortunate to see, because he's a great driver. Here comes JM. He is going to attack back though. He's going to go for the race lead now once again, and Larkin is going to have to just sit there and look at the Williams fly by in the DRS, and this could really be a bit of cat and mouse to the end. High-speed game of chess, as Martin Brundle has said before on Formula 1 commentary. Well, we have a high-speed game of checkers, I suppose you could say, here in One Hub Racing.
Yes, it's going to be. They're going to be pushing each other, going to be wearing out those tyres, trying to push each other into a mistake. And yep, come the next lap, I think Larkin's going to be into the lead again.
I think so, but what we may see Larkin doing is sitting behind and letting JM burn up all his ears. You can see JM really pushing. He feels he's the pace to actually outpace Larkin in this one. He feels none of that DRS shenanigans. He just wants to win this race on pure pace, but it's not going to work, I'm afraid, and burning up all his battery will cost him, because if we take a look at the telemetry, look how much more Larkin has. Larkin can utilise that one. As we see, rounding the final few chicanes, Larkin has actually lost a bit of time, and I believe you were saying earlier on that Larkin lost a bit of time through there, or Schnitzel game time on Larkin, so to say, but he's fallen a bit back and may not actually make the move into turn 1 here. Larkin is going to have to settle back, but that DRS does bring him back into play a lot more on the braking zone of turn 1, and this may be a case of do not make a mistake to the end, Larkin, and he'll get back past on lap 33 as we see Nick get past. Oh no, sorry, we don't see Nick getting past the Keke, we see a Keke taking after Carlos Sainz Sr. through the final corner, but he's caught it as well, so impressive stuff for a Keke to catch that one.
That was well saved. That could have been a nasty accident.
It could have been, and Colin Mason has been hanging about 0.5 of a second behind Cam, so Colin not doing a bad job despite his lack of tyres at this point. Maybe you could say the mediums are probably not feeling the best for Colin or Mason at this moment in time, but we do have to cut back up the front to see Larkin 0.4 of a second behind JM. Can he keep with the Williams through the final sector? It's where he's been struggling. It's where JM is quick as they head through 13 in towards 14 and 15. Yeah, you can just see JM runs a bit of a tighter line through there, and it's really working for the Williams, and he gets the exit as well. I think if the gap coming through the final corner is 0.6 of a second, JM can keep the lead. As we see here, it's about 0.6 of a second, and there's no chance Larkin is overtaking him on this lap. He needs to get much closer on the final lap if he wants to win here in Barcelona. As bumps over the yellow sausage curbs, this is really not working out to be as easy as Larkin would have thought. The fresher softs has the more ERS and arguably the better pace, but he didn't get pole. He is still in the battle for the win, and he is still only 0.4 behind the Williams on the second last lap here, the ERT Barcelona Grand Prix. It will be a last lap shootout in Catalonia to see who wins here in Barcelona. A crucial last lap for the championship, possibly. A collision between these two would have massive implications, of course. It would maybe, if they DNF'd, it would maybe see J. Cole all but mathematically wrap up the championship. But let's not talk about that now, because rounding the final few corners, Larkin is really in the hunt here. He does not want to lose any time through the final couple of corners, 13 here and then 14 and 15. He needs to be close. It's not been the best run through there, but he's tightened it up and he's got smoother, and now needs to burn all the battery. He's a bit closer on this occasion, but this is going to be the final possible attempt for ERT Larkin to win the Spanish Grand Prix. Gaining and gaining is the Red Bull racing car, and now he's almost alongside into the braking zone. Larkin versus JM. Larkin leads in Spain. Larkin leads in the final lap and takes it when it was most crucial. No mistake to the end, and Larkin will win here in Barcelona for Red Bull, and he will take the championship lead due to his teammate only being in 6th place. Yellow flag, that is Thomas Mack for Alpine at the back. That is not one of our championship contenders. He's actually retired from the race there, but no safety car can be brought out this late on in the Grand Prix. Unless JM has something left in the tank, this should be Larkin's all the way home.
Yep, I think this is Larkin's now. JM has drained his battery. Larkin's got over 20% left. He's too far back down this. Yep.
Yeah, way too far back is JM. He's not close enough there, and you see Thomas Mack on the outside was actually a manual retirement. It wasn't a crash, so it wouldn't have been a safety car anyways if we did have enough laps left. But Larkin rounding the final few corners. Still doesn't take the better line, but he has the track position, and there'll be no DRS down the main straight this time for JM. Larkin, he left it late, but left it late. Larkin is your new P2 championship leader and wins the Spanish Grand Prix here in the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Schnitzel will come home for P3 ahead of Cam after a disastrous end to qualifying. Will come home 4th in a fantastic recovery drive. Colin Mason comes home in 5th, with J. Cole left wondering what could have been in 6th. Waitsy will come home 7th. Nick will come home in 8th, and Okeke and J-Luke will end the day as disastrous as it started with the last 2 spots, but it will still be good points at 9th and 10th for the 2 AlphaTauris. Much better than 2 DNF, so to say, and J-Luke may even pick up the fastest lap point for outside the top 10 while he is doing it. He's purple in sector 2. But we will see what happens here as Okeke crosses the line in 9th. We just wait on a J-Luke fastest lap attempt. He's a second up on his PB, and I argue it might just be his best moment of the day here, because even when he was looking good, he had a spinning Nick in front. J-Luke does take the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. An exciting end to the Spanish Grand Prix, but Larkin takes the championship lead, and we're in for a right cracker next week. What's your thoughts on that one?
Wow, what a race. Everything happened in that, didn't it? I mean, fair play to the AlphaTauris. You know, they still got decent points in the end. They had a very eventful start to the race. J. Cole, what could have been. I think he's going to have some stern words in the steward's office with the Alfa Romeo driver. And yeah, now Larkin back on top with 2 rounds to go. It is becoming a 2-horse race between the Red Bull drivers.
It is, and we are in for 2 brilliant races. We head back over to the United States in Austin, and then we end in Bahrain, and you couldn't really ask for a better track to finish the season off. It's a short season, but a brilliant season is what it is turning out to be. And there's your podium. We see Adrian Newey joining Larkin on the podium. And I have to say, JM and Schnitzel will be delighted with that after starting 1 and 2. They, after some poor races, they do get their deserved podium. But the full race results, it is ERT Larkin confirmed with the win with a race time of 47 minutes 30 seconds. He, I believe he will take the fastest lap for inside the top 10 as well, which will be another point on his... No, J-Luke will, because J-Luke finished 10th, so it is Larkin with the win, JM in 2nd, and Schnitzel finishing in 3rd. Cam will pick up a best result of the season in 4th. Cam actually won in Miami, but did get that penalty at the end of the race. So Cam, great result for Ferrari. Colin Orr Mason in 5th picks up another good result with J. Cole in 6th. It's then Waitsy, Nick, Okeke, J-Luke, and your non-finishers were Thomas Mack, Joom, Lukey, and Cam Rose, who went out very early in this one. But now, as per every week, I do have to ask you, who's your driver of the day?
Right, well, I'm going to go for the Ferrari driver of Cam. And my question for him is, due to your unfortunate disqualification in qualifying and finishing P4 in the race, do you think if you didn't get disqualified, would the race be potential for you today?
I am going, I suppose I kind of have to go for a race winner, Larkin, and it's a simple question for Larkin. How does it feel to take the win and the championship lead heading into the end of the season? But that is all pretty much we do have time for. Any final words?
No, thank you for having me. And
yeah, it was great to have you alongside me. Thank you for filling in for Matthew. It was great to have a new partner. yes, hopefully we have you back sometime. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable evening of racing here in One Hub P2 tier, and you don't want to miss us because you've seen one of the best races of the season, but it's only going to get better from here. Of course, join us in Austin, Texas next week where we go racing for the ERT Grand Prix of Austin. But for now, stay safe, stay well, and we'll catch you next time.